cut taxes is a vote to put America first again. We want to do that. We want to put America first again.
President Trump makes a stop in Missouri to promote the GOP tax plan. He spoke in St. Charles today, saying the eyes of the world are watching to see if the Senate will pass the plan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reek.
And I'm Emily Spain. His trip comes a day after the Senate Budget Committee voted to send the tax package to the Senate floor. The president criticized the current tax code and emphasized how the new tax plan would provide massive tax cuts for working families. He says the new tax plan will not benefit the rich. Trump also spoke about everything he has accomplished so far in his presidency.
I will tell you this in a non-braggadocious way. There has never been a 10-month president that has accomplished what we have accomplished. That I can tell you. That I can tell you.
While many were there to support President Trump and the new tax bill, the president also saw a lot of opposition.
Protesters lined I-70 hours before the president arrived in St. Charles. They carried signs, flags, and banners calling him a liar and chanting for his impeachment. At one point, protesters were even jumping on the American flag, prompting a more heated exchange between them and Trump supporters. One protester is against the tax bill because he believes it will hurt education.
I work in higher education, and I think it's really important that graduate education stays with tuition waivers and that endowments aren't taxed. I think American higher education really relies on these.
After tension escalated between the two groups, police stepped in to calm the scene.
And right here in mid-Missouri, local groups met today at City Hall in Columbia to protest the GOP's tax plan. Attendees talked about how the middle class, higher education, and teachers could be affected. Organizers say people should understand how many people are invested in the conversation.
I want the people to see that are driving by that everyday citizens, teachers, workers, parents, dads, moms are coming together to really protest against this type of work.
Canterbury also says she hopes people take a close look at the numbers to better understand what the impact could be.
The Senate is a step closer to voting on the plan. It voted 52 to 48 to formally begin up to 20 hours of debate before a final vote. Republicans can't lose more than 2 votes to win final passage. No Democrats have expressed support for the overhaul. The House has already passed its version. The president wants the bill on his desk before the holidays. Congress hasn't passed a major tax reform bill since 1986.
The House of Representatives has voted to require annual sexual harassment training for all members, staff, and interns. The measure was passed by a voice vote this afternoon. The House has been rocked in recent weeks by reports of harassment by members against both staff members and fellow members of Congress. Both Democrats and Republicans made the case on the House floor that mandatory training is a first step toward fixing the culture.
American Airlines is scrambling to make sure there are enough pilots to fly planes over the holidays.
This after the airline says a computer glitch left thousands of flights with no pilots to fly them. KOMU 8's Stephanie Sandoval is live at the Columbia Regional Airport with Mid-Missouri Reaction.
Right now, American Airlines is searching for pilots. Thousands of flights over the holiday season are in danger of being canceled because of a computer error that let too many pilots take the same vacation days. The pilots union says about 15,000 flights were scheduled without a captain, co-pilot, or both. A spokesperson for the airline says they expect to avoid cancellations by using reserve pilots. American Airlines issued a statement earlier today. A spokesperson said they are working diligently to address the issue. They are even offering pilots 150% of their hourly rate if they help cover certain open trips during the month of December. Now, most people I spoke to today say they haven't heard of the computer glitch until I told them, but one person I spoke to who just got off their flight a few hours ago says this is a very strange thing that's happened, especially since it's a big corporation.
I got here in Columbia. I'm fine. I'm good to go. But if the corporate is having a problem, then it's a corporate problem, and it's not the people that are running, like the actual behind the scenes of the problem.
The airline also says it's working with APA, which represents about 15,000 professional pilots that fly for American Airlines to ensure that customers get to where they need to go. Reporting live in Columbia, Stephanie Sandoval, KOMU 8 News.
Columbia police are still questioning a shots fired call at the Columbia Square Apartments near West Middle School this afternoon. Officers are questioning at least one person. They found several shell casings and checked the scene for guns and other evidence. One apartment building and an AC unit were both hit by bullets. We spoke to a witness who says he was so close he felt in danger.
You can tell it was gunshots, and we were close enough to duck, and get down, and it's just crazy when it happens this close to where you work or live or whatever.
Police say there were no reports of anyone getting hit.
Boone County deputies arrested a convicted felon today after they found him with guns and ammo. The Sheriff's Department's SWAT team arrested Larry Hanton Jr. after they served a search warrant on Demerit Drive. Hanton Jr. is now in custody for suspicion of unlawful possession of a firearm. He has 5 felony convictions dating back to 2001. In total, deputies found 4 guns plus the ammunition. Jefferson City Police arrested 4 people during its first night of patrols on Ventura Avenue. One of those arrested was wanted for a homicide in Louisiana. Officers are patrolling Ventura Avenue daily after calls from neighbors about gunfire, disturbances, and assaults. The department says it wants the community to know it's listening and doing everything it can to stop crime. A Ventura resident says she knows of some suspicious activity and the neighborhood is nice until the sun goes down.
There's a lot of concern, obviously, from local residents about their safety. Shots fired, resulting in many cars being hit, struck by gunfire, shell casings found. So that obviously concerned the residents and concerns us, clearly, since our job is public safety.
Shoemaker says asked the community to call the police if they see anything suspicious.
The Boone County Sheriff's Department warns of a new bail bond scam. Scammers call and impersonate law enforcement, telling you a family member has been arrested. They ask for personal and financial information. The department says the best way to confirm if someone is a scammer is to hang up and call the agency that person was representing.
A law enforcement agency will never call anyone asking them for a debit card or credit card information, or to go to Western Union and wire money to a certain location.
The Sheriff's Department says there's no way to prevent these calls or trace them.
It was another comfortable, beautiful day out there for the end of November. Kenton says the weekend ahead looks pretty comfortable too. Kenton.
Emily, thank you very much. It was another nice day out there, at least comfortable if you like these warm temperatures, about 10, 15 degrees above average. Highs were in the upper 50s actually today, 59, the high temperature in Columbia. Heading into the rest of our overnight hours, we're still about 10, 15 degrees above average overnight too. We're only around 40 degrees here at sunrise. And in the next couple days, we are going to stay comfortable. We're at 56 here on Thursday, a lot of sunshine, less wind. We'll keep the sunshine and calmer winds on Friday too. We're at 57 degrees there. Even warmer as we head into the weekend. And if you've now by this point gotten used to these warm temperatures, we've been above average now for a few weeks. That's all going to change next week. We have a bitterly cold system that's going to roll in, and it's going to be a new pattern for us. I'll detail that in my full forecast coming up later in the show.
Bitter cold, not ready for it. All right, Columbia's Climate Action Plan hopes to achieve goals the city didn't meet in the past.
Plus, a sombering announcement today in Columbia. Opioid overdoses now exceed traffic deaths statewide.
This month, the city of Columbia is working with a consultant to help with the city's climate action plan. It is supposed to outline how Columbia will reduce its greenhouse gas emissions.
The city tried a similar plan in 2006 but fell short of its goals. KOMU 8's Chris Joseph tells us what went wrong last time and why this plan is different.
There was no reporting mechanism. There was no place that every community was reporting their emissions to and their actions. Now there is.
Barbara Buffalo is Columbia's sustainability manager and is responsible for reducing Columbia's emissions. In 2006, her position didn't exist. That year, former Mayor Darwin Heineman tried to bring Columbia's emissions down by implementing UN emissions targets.
The first thing we did was sign on. And then we had to start thinking about how to implement it.
But there was no office dedicated to meeting those goals. An Office of Sustainability study from this summer shows that Columbia's emissions have actually gone up since 2005. Mayor Brian Treese committed Columbia to the Paris Climate Agreement last June, asking Buffalo to spearhead a new emissions effort.
We wanted to turn inwards and see who are the local experts that can help us.
Feasible? Like, would you be willing to do that? What would the cost be of recycling all these plastic cups?
A group of MU engineering students is now researching energy efficiency ideas for the city.
So if there's like electric power cars, having charging stations in front of their businesses might be advantageous for the city and also for the businesses.
Any ideas Buffalo or the city chooses to include in the plan will be implemented in 2018. In Columbia, Chris Joseph, KMU8 News.
Buffalo is still waiting on the emissions reduction goal from the City Council. She will be making recommendations in December.
And looking at your flight forecast for tomorrow, everything looks good to go. Temperatures here across these areas in the 50s and 60s. Quite a bit of sunshine. A few more clouds there over in St. Louis, at least to start off the day, but they'll see a lot of sunshine in New York as well. But no delays expected. I have the full forecast detailing a bitterly cold middle, at least, of next week coming up.
With the opioid crisis at an all-time high, hundreds of Mid-Missourians gathered today to discuss the growing problem. That's after Lotto. In response to the rapidly growing opioid epidemic, Columbia hosted a 2017 Missouri Opioid Summit today. The crowd of 300 from health departments, law enforcement, and education showed up. Deaths related to overdoses have increased in Missouri since 2001 and have reached a staggering level.
For the first time ever, opioid overdoses have exceeded traffic fatalities, not just in the country, but right here at home in Missouri.
A ninth and final summit will be held in St. Louis next Tuesday. The MU School of Nursing is now offering an online nursing program to help address the shortage of nurses in Missouri. The new nursing program will be offered in conjunction with Mizzou Online for nurses with associate degrees. Students can earn their bachelor's and master's degree in 3 to 4 years taking the program. It is estimated that 1.2 million more nurses are needed nationally by 2020.
Mid-Missouri homeless shelters are starting to watch the weather to see when guests will come in seeking warmth. The Salvation Army's Harbor House has 60 beds catering to men, women, and families. When those beds are full, they have an extra 10 cold cots. The house provides guests with a warm dinner before bed and breakfast and coffee in the morning.
Sometimes people choose not to come into a shelter, but we make them available. It can be a handful of beds, it can be a full house depending on how bad the weather is, but the thing is they're available in case the need is there.
The Harbor House opens its doors once the weather drops below 45 degrees. After a 1 in 5 start, many question if Mizzou head coach Barry Odom would keep his job. Well, things have certainly turned around. Sports is next.
Now here's a look at what we're following. Just kidding. Jim, you're going to talk about this story.
It was a true bipartisan moment, although a brief one. California senator had a World Series bet with the Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz, and since the Astros won, Harris had to pay off, so she donned her best and only Astros cap and jersey and delivering it. Cruz said he was glad to have backed a winner because he didn't think he could have donned a Dodger jersey.
Now here's a look at what we're following for KMU8 News today. The CDC released a new study showing suicide rates tend to drop during the holiday season.
Experts tell us why that might be the case. That's coming up tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. Kenton.
Temperatures should be in the lower 40s there tomorrow morning. We're going to see a lot of sunshine, though, with the cloud cover decreasing pretty early on. 56 in the afternoon, still well above average, and will remain seasonably warm through the weekend. It's 60 on Saturday, 63 on Sunday, breezy there. Then some clouds and rain chances on Monday, with temperatures cooling down to bitterly cold temperatures starting this time next week.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.